Hey guys, welcome back to the Growth Marriage Podcast. I'm super excited to have you here today. I hope you have had a chance to tune in to the last couple of episodes because I've been going over what has become the backbone of everything that I teach. If you're familiar with my story, you know that I spent the better part of a year traveling all around the United States, interviewing the most madly in love couples that I could find. And my goal was to try and figure out what it was that the most extraordinary couples did that everybody else, every other couple on the planet was missing out on. What were the people who had the most satisfying and fulfilling relationships doing that other people were completely blind to? And during that journey, I started getting introduced to some of the top relationship experts in the world, like Gary Chapman, who wrote The 5 Love Languages, and John and Julie Gottman, who run the Gottman Institute and wrote the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work, and tons of other people. And when I show up to a party or something and people find out what I do or what I've done, the question almost always follows of, okay, well, what did you learn? What's the takeaway? What's the secret to true love? And I've had such a hard time articulating that over the years. It's been a real challenge for me because the temptation is to give the textbook answers of, you just need better communication or you just need to put your partner first. But that wasn't true. There was something that I experienced in this journey, something that I learned that I hadn't quite learned to articulate yet. And it wasn't until recently that the truth started to kind of crystallize in my brain. And I started to have words to be able to express what it was that I learned on this journey. And these last couple of podcasts were the first opportunity that I've had to really start teaching this, sharing what it is that makes truly epic marriages possible. And I call it the growth ecosystem. And just to summarize really quick, the growth ecosystem consists of 3 parts, just like the basic ecosystem for a plant. And the idea is that just like if you put the plant into the ideal, put a plant into an ideal ecosystem, it has no choice but to grow. If you put a human in its ideal ecosystem, it also has no choice but to grow. So the first piece is just like a plant is always striving towards the sun, and the sun kind of gives it a direction in which to grow. A human being needs a goal that inspires them and motivates them to get up and do work and face pain because it's worthwhile. And you got to have that goal. You got to have some sort of ideal, a version of yourself that's better than who you are right now. It's really interesting when you have a goal that you really believe in, something that you're chasing that you really, really want. What happens is the struggles that you face, the challenges that you encounter gain purpose. They gain meaning. And suddenly that thing that once would be discouraging for you is an opportunity. The thing that used to be a setback becomes a chance for you to show what you're made of, to push through and overcome that thing. And in that process, you grow. And hopefully you accomplish your goals, and that makes you into a better version of yourself than who you were before. It's a really cool concept. So I love having that ideal to strive for. The second part of the growth ecosystem is a plant needs soil in which to grow. And that soil does 2 things. One, it holds it in place when storms come along. So the wind and the rain will come along. But if it has a great soil and the roots have grown deep into that soil, the plant isn't going to get washed away. And on top of that, the plant absorbs nutrients through the roots. And just like a plant has soil, you have a community. And your community is the group of people that you spend the most time with. And those are the people that will hold you in, they'll keep you grounded when the storms of life come along and hard things come along. You'll be able to rely on them, and they'll be there to support you and encourage you through your failures and celebrate your successes with you. And on top of that, there's a lot of research out there, and I talked about this in the episode about community, that demonstrates that you pick up the values and the behaviors and the attitudes of the people that you spend the most time with. And so if you want to have an amazing marriage and you're spending time around people who have amazing marriages and they're kind and generous and uplifting towards their partner, you're going to adopt those same mentalities and behaviors and attitudes. So your community is vitally important, because the flip side is true as well. If you're spending your time with people who tear people down and who are negative and always looking for the worst and they complain a lot, you're going to be that kind of person as well. The third aspect of the growth ecosystem is having, just like a plant needs water to survive, and it will wither and die if it doesn't get water. Water is kind of the life source of growth. Without water, everything dies. And on the flip side, when it comes to human beings, if you want to see explosive, incredible growth, 9 times out of 10, that growth is accompanied with a system of accountability. Whether it's having a coach in a sport, or a teacher for a musical instrument or a skill you're trying to learn, or a parent who's teaching a child to walk or talk or learn how to behave like an adult, or a boss that's mentoring you and showing you the ropes in your profession, almost every single time that you're going to see explosive growth in a human being, it's because they're put in an ecosystem where there's some sense of accountability that's pushing that person slightly beyond their edge, so that they're not only doing the day-to-day things that are going to help them succeed, but they're stretching themselves a little bit, and they're being exposed to their weaknesses so that they can work on them. And honestly, I don't think most people have a system of accountability in their marriage. It's part of the reason why therapy tends to work really well, is because unless there's like some past trauma or some things that like really emotionally need to get worked out, oftentimes therapy is beneficial for couples just because it's a sense of accountability. The couple shows up in the therapist's office and they talk about the problems that they're having. They create a game plan, they leave, and they know that in a week they're going to have to come back and report on what changed, what they did differently to get different results. And just that system of accountability helps to create improvements inside their marriage. So that sums up the growth ecosystem. And this is the thing that I'm like building everything around. Whether you're reading an email from me, whether you're listening to a podcast like this one, or watching a video, whether it's a course you're experiencing or a social media post, everything that I do is going to be, my hope is that it's built, and my intention is that it's built around this growth ecosystem. I'm constantly asking myself, am I helping them to clarify their goals and create goals that are inspiring and motivating and get them excited to make a better marriage? Am I helping to provide them with a community that is supportive and encouraging? Am I giving them a sense that I care about their marriage, which I do. I care about your marriage so much. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then the last thing is, am I helping to hold you accountable? Am I helping you, when you read an email or listen to a podcast, think like, yeah, I probably should be doing that more than I am right now? And that's my goal. My goal is to operate from this space of the growth ecosystem. A lot of people think that you can just have a better life if you have a growth mindset, and your mindset is definitely important, but your mindset will only get you so far. And if the environment you're in is not set up to help you succeed, then your mindset can only get you to a certain point. And that explosive growth only comes when you have the mindset and you're put in the right environment. I hope that makes sense. So with all the, this is a weird segue, but with all that being said, and this is a second ago, I said that I care a lot about your marriage, and I want to tell you why I said that. So, sometimes I get going really fast and I need to just take a deep breath and slow down. Something you may not know about me, because I don't share it very often, is that I think about death a lot. Not in a morbid way. I am very kind of at peace with the idea of dying. But the thing that I think about the most is, how will I be remembered? I think about my funeral, like who's going to show up, who's going to care on the day that I die, and what do I want to be remembered for? I've had a lot of time to think about this. I've thought about it regularly for quite a few years. What I've realized is that what I want to be remembered for is being the guy who helps people have amazing marriages. If that is the one legacy that I leave behind, I will die a happy man. And I say that because I want you to know that every single thing that I create and send to you, whether it's a podcast or an email or a blog post or whatever else I do, a course or something like that, I do it with the hope that somebody out there will read it or listen to it or participate in it, and that it will help create a positive shift. Because that's what I want my legacy to be. It comes from a place of genuine care for you and for your marriage. There's some days where I kind of joke to myself that I feel like I'm putting more work into some people's marriages than they put into their own. Because I care that much about it. I want to see them succeed. I hate divorce. I hate it when people break up. I hate it. I hate thinking about how they felt about each other on their wedding day and then seeing how they feel about each other before they get a divorce. It breaks my heart that two people who love each other can drift apart like that. And I understand that there's lots of different circumstances, but if I had it my way, that divorce rate would be much lower. And I'm making efforts to help us eradicate that divorce rate by developing extraordinary relationships that they don't ever even want to think about leaving because they're so awesome. So with all that being said, over the last couple of episodes, I've been alluding to something really cool that Laura Heck and I have been working on. It's called the Epic Wives Experiment. And before I tell you what it is, I want to tell you why we built it, why we created it. So one of the things that Laura and I have noticed, we both work with couples on a very regular basis. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. She sees couples almost every single day and is constantly helping them through their struggles. And I am a researcher and educator, and I have listeners and followers all over the world. And I'm constantly getting messages from people asking for help or asking questions or asking for support inside their relationship. And there's a trend that Laura and I have witnessed over our span of working with couples, and it's that there are a lot of wives who seem to be constantly on the edge of burnout. They're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, and they're exhausted. And I think back on my wedding day, and when I got married, I did not sign up to feel that way all the time. It doesn't sound fun at all. And the thing that we noticed is that when women are feeling burned out like this, when these wives are on the brink of just like, they're feeling so stressed out and so overwhelmed, managing all of the things that they have going on in life and all of the emotions and all of the responsibilities, what they typically do is one of two things. The first thing is they strap on the Superman cape or the Superwoman cape, and they kind of just put on their big girl pants and they decide, I'm going to take care of everything that nobody else is taking care of. I'm just going to be Superwoman, and I'm going to take on all the responsibilities and all the stresses and do all the emotional labor and make sure that everybody's taken care of. And in the process, they completely lose themselves. And then they have nothing of themselves left to give, and they find themselves in a bit of an identity crisis over time. And they also find themselves kind of resenting their husband and resenting their marriage because their marriage is to blame for them losing themselves. The second thing that typically happens to many women is they shut down the physical and emotional intimacy in their marriage to create space to take care of everything else. That intimacy, the physical and emotional intimacy, sitting down and like having meaningful conversations with their partner, having sex, cuddling, being close in any way, shape, or form, completely takes a backseat to just making sure that the day-to-day things get taken care of. They're so exhausted. They're so done by the end of the day. They have nothing left to give. So they might as well just like shut it off so that they can survive. And I don't know about you, but neither of those options sounds very fun. And Laura and I kept hearing these stories of women who are burned out, women who had their Superman capes on, extraordinary women who wanted amazing things for their marriage, but they were just in this crazy survival mode, not enjoying being married. And we thought to ourselves, there's got to be another way. So we created it. We created an alternative. And the alternative is the Epic Wives Experiment. And the idea behind this is we want to give women more of what they want by doing less. We want them to feel loved and cherished and supported by their husbands. We want them to feel less stressed and less overwhelmed, like they're sharing a lot of the physical and mental and emotional load that goes into running the household. And we also wanted them to feel like marriage was fun again. Maybe they could just rediscover that hibernating part of themselves that is like the fun, flirty, and even like seductive part of themselves that they were so in touch with most often in the early phases of their relationship. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, right? It just sounds like we want to help wives enjoy marriage again. And that's exactly what the Epic Wives Experiment is all about. The goal here is to run these wives through a series of experiments over the month of January. And those experiments should provide evidence for the things that wives can do to get support from their husbands. Support, love, admiration, closeness, and help in the ways that they need it. And we're really, really, really excited to tell you about it. All right, so now you know why we created the Epic Wives experiment and you have a rough idea for what it is. Now I want to get into the nitty-gritties. So for those of you who are still listening, hopefully there's a lot of wives and a lot of husbands who care about their wives. This is what you get when you sign up for the Epic Wives experiment. We are launching the very first week of February, and the goal is to provide you with everything you need to make January of 2020 the best month of your marriage so far and set you on a path to have 2020 be the year of love for you, the best year of your marriage ever. We're really, really excited about it. So this is how it works. On the very first Monday of every week, there's only one Monday in a week. So on the Monday of every week, Laura and I are going to go live in a Facebook group, the Epic Wives Facebook group. And we are going to introduce the topic for the day. And we're going to teach and provide all of the wives who are participating with amazing principles and insights and do a really intense training on the topic we're going to be covering that week. And then we're going to give you an opportunity to journal and reflect and write about what you learned. And then for the rest of the week, we're going to give you an experiment that you can conduct inside your marriage. And the goal is to go do that experiment and just see what results come forward. Some of the experiments are going to provide no results. Some of them are going to provide massive results that get you really, really excited to do the experiment over and over again. And the goal here is to help you discover what things you can do inside your marriage to create the biggest impact possible so that at the end of the month, you're doing less inside your marriage and getting way more out of it. And you're doing less because you have a partner who is excited and willing and stoked about helping you and supporting you and being there to be an awesome husband to you. So you're going to get that weekly call. The second thing you're going to get is that series of challenges. You're going to get access to the Epic Wives community. And this is going to go on for an entire 30 days. And that is not the only thing we're offering you. That's just like the main core. That's what everybody gets. But the extra stuff that we wanted to throw on top, because I love over-delivering, is that we're going to be offering at the end of this experiment a 1-hour training. And that training is specifically designed to help you successfully have difficult conversations inside your relationship. We realize that one of the biggest things that people complain about inside their marriage is that they have problems communicating. And whenever somebody tells me they have problems communicating, what I know they're really saying is that there's conversations inside their relationship that cause drama, conflict, upset, frustration, big emotions, and they don't know how to navigate those hard conversations. Most people are great communicators. There's just a few specific topics of conversation that they have a really hard time addressing. And this training is going to give you tons of tools and resources and a pathway to move forward so that you can have those conversations successfully. And the overall outcome, the goal of that training, is to have you take the conversations that you absolutely can't have right now and turn them into conversations that you can manage within a few minutes, or things that would have in the past maybe taken you weeks to get over because of all the drama and emotion that has been involved. It could take you hours or even minutes to navigate that conversation now. I know the stuff works because I use it in my own marriage, and I've literally seen the conflicts that bothered us early on in our relationship. Now we literally in seconds can navigate those conflicts that would have had us ticked off at each other for like a full day or two, and we can manage it in so much less time. So that's a really cool bonus to throw in. And then the other bonus that I want to throw in there is there's going to be an opportunity for you to win some amazing prizes. So throughout the week, as the wives participate in the Epic Wives experiment, people who are engaged, we're going to be giving prizes to. So the prizes are going to be things like gift cards to get a massage, gift certificates for maid services to have somebody come in and help clean your house. We're going to be giving away a 1-year subscription to Disney Plus or a 1-year subscription to Netflix, whatever is your streaming platform of choice, and tons of other really cool prizes as well. But the idea here is we want to incentivize you guys not only to sign up, but to participate, because we know that when you take action, you get results. If you just show up to gather information, you're not going to see a massive shift in your relationship. So we're designing this Epic Wives experiment to be an action-taking opportunity. And if you notice, we're providing you inside this experience with the 3 pieces of the growth ecosystem. We're giving you a goal to strive towards. We have specific experiments for you to do every single week. We've got a community set up for you, the Epic Wives community on Facebook, where Laura and I will be accessible to not only teach you, but answer your questions on a regular basis. And you'll gain support from other Epic Wives in this community community. And then third, we're throwing in a system of accountability. We're rewarding people who complete the experience and who do so in a way that contributes to other people succeeding as well. They're actively engaged in the community. They're being supportive. It's going to be an amazing experience. And honestly, the value here is huge. Typically, people who would be getting this type of training from Laura and I would be spending upwards of hundreds or maybe even $1,000 in one-on-one coaching or therapy sessions. And we are offering it to everybody, not to everybody because husbands can't participate, to all wives for $39, which is like what my wife spent on Christmas candles this year. Like it's less than $10 a week. You're never, ever, ever going to be able to get access to me or to Laura like this for $10 ever. So it's a steal of a deal. I don't know if we'll ever price it like this again. And I just wanted to make this, when we were building this program, we had several people counsel us to price it at several $100s because of the value that's coming in it. And we pushed back because we want to make sure that this is accessible to everybody. I think if you really dig into your finances and look at it, if this is a stretch for you, you can find a way to pay $10 a week for 1 month. Your marriage should be worth that much to you. So my hope is that if you are a wife listening, or if you are a husband listening who loves his wife and wants her to not feel so stressed out and overwhelmed, that you come join us. You can go to epicwivesexperiment.com to sign up, and we are going to be kicking off. There's going to be some bonus content that I didn't even talk about yet that you can access before the experiment even starts that will help you get in the right mindset and set you up so you can get the absolute most out of the experiment as possible. And I'm really, really excited to see, not only to get to know you better, but to see what kind of results we can get you in just 4 short weeks and what kind of a difference that makes for you over the coming year. My hope is that you don't pass up on this and then, in 2 months or a month, I don't know how many months away Valentine's Day is, but in February, when Valentine's Day rolls around, we're going to be wrapping up this whole Epic Wives experiment. My hope is that you don't pass this up and then on Valentine's Day, you start thinking like, oh man, I wonder where my marriage would be if I had signed up for that thing and done it. I wonder if we'd be in a much better place right now. Like, I want you to be going into Valentine's Day going, oh my gosh, I've never been more in love and more excited about my marriage than I am right now. Or at the very minimum, excited about the trajectory your marriage is moving in. So if that sounds like something you want, go to epicwivesexperiment.com and sign up and ask your friends to sign up. We're going to make it a party. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to make 2020 the year of love. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Next week, I have something really special planned for you. We're talking about a concept that I've fallen in love with that falls right in line with the growth ecosystem and will give you a brand new way to look at your marriage. So I hope you tune in. And more importantly, I hope that I get to see you on the Epic Wives Experiment Facebook group and get to know you better there. See you next week, guys.